area. So let's welcome again Karen and Sally.
Wow, that was quite an introduction. It was such a long list of things because I've had a very long journey because I'm quite old now. So I've been living a long time. And so, yeah, a lot of those things, the Romper Room TV show with Miss Karen back in Rochester, New York, I did that job when I was 24 years old. So it was a great, fun job. And at that time, Romper Room was the only educational TV show aired on television. So I really loved doing that show as well as I was being a kindergarten and a first grade teacher. So, but thank you all for coming tonight. It's great to be here, and I think it'll be a fun event. Sally and I have had the best time working on this book, and about choosing to write a book, and especially to self-publish a book. And it is so much easier now to self-publish books than ever in the history of writing. But you better really love it and really be passionate about it, believe in it, because it's going to be with you a long time. And it has been, and we hope that Shoeprint Art, Step into Drawing, Step by Step, will just keep, I guess, be available for, decades of little generations of children. Keep on just helping children to draw and have fun. So that's the neat thing about books. You just never know how long they're going to stay in print. Or maybe they'll never go out of print. And we hope that Shoeprint will stay be here with us a long time. But first, I want you to hear more from Sally. It was an amazing miracle that we were connected in West Seattle. We were both living in West Seattle at that time, and we hadn't met one another, but I was at a UPS reunion down in Tacoma and met her sorority sisters and found out that we're sorority sisters. We're both tri-delts, and Sally's older sister was in my pledge class at the U of W, and Sally went to UPS. And so here Lori Ann was, I've known Lori Ann since I was 18 years old, and then here miraculously I'm connected with Sally, and they said, oh, you've got to meet Sally. She's a graphic designer. She's just so talented. You've got to meet one another. You're the writer, and I'm not the artist. And so it was really amazing. This book is, every book, it's really the illustrations that make or break the book. And often a writer, of picture books, they don't get to choose the illustrator. Usually the publisher or the editor, they choose the artist. And sometimes the writers are really thrilled, and other times they're very disappointed. But I got to choose Sally. So here's Sally, amazing, talented artist who made Shoeprint art so adorable.
Hi. I have to give credit to Karen. She's being very modest, but the illustrator is important, but the idea person behind it is extremely important. And when I first met Karen, she asked me to go over to her house and discuss some projects or whatever, and I was there for, I think, 5 hours, and I don't know that we covered everything. She had projects that were not done yet, that were in the making, but ones that had been already produced or whatever. Karen is an idea person, and she makes it happen. She not only had prototypes, but she had connections, and she had people that she knew, and it went on and on. I was in awe. And there was one project that spoke to me, and that was her Shoeprint idea. And I thought, that is really clever, and she had Shoeprint concepts that she showed me that were just fabulous. I mean, to think you could...
They weren't fabulous, they were just sketches.
Well, they were sketches, but they were a beginning, and it was exciting. So we decided to collaborate, and I'd never done anything like this before, so it was sort of a maiden voyage for me, and Karen was a good pilot or whatever. But we worked together for almost a year, kept coming up with ideas, kept meeting little children that were enthused about it, and it just took on a life of its own, so to speak. And Karen has many how many grandbabies do you have? Grandchildren?
5.
You have 5. That's a lot. And they all contributed their drawings, and we had that was actually the greatest fun of all, was to see how children put their own spin on things. They're so, I mean, I think their art is far superior than any art that is produced by adults, in my mind, because it's so pure and it's so free, and it was very delightful to see this. So we began, and that's the way. And I'm going to hand it back to you, because I think you want to present something about the book and the content. And
Right. Thanks, Sally. That was great. About the book, it always, kind of maybe a how did it come about, and in choosing a book to write a book, you have to have something unique, something that has a new twist on something. And I knew that there were many books out with fingerprints and handprints and thumbprint books. I'd seen those, but I'd never seen a footprint or a shoe print book. So I knew shoe print was pretty unique and different and kind of quirky, and I'm a little quirky, so it was a good fit. It was a perfect fit for me. And so, but I first started a little chick and a bunny with my book that I wrote for Carson Delosa Company. It was year-round holiday crafts, and I had a little chick and a footprint chick and a footprint bunny that I had in that book. And then I went on to write Big Bulletin Boards, a cooperative approach for Scott Forsman and Company. And once again, I put the bunnies and chicks together. And then one day I thought, gosh, wonder what else I could draw, other than a chick and a bunny. So I thought, Karen, this is your job for today. You have to just sit and sketch and just brainstorm, just keep sketching. So I sketched, I did a horse and a dog and a pig, and I just kept sketching, all, for several hours. And I came up with about 85 different shoe print or footprint, images. And that's when I knew I could make almost anything from a shoe print shape, and I had the makings of a book. Sally's drawings were so adorable, and she just, took my sketches that were just sketches, and then she made them so fabulous. But it was Marianne Cole, who is the owner and publisher of Bright Ring Publishing up in Bellingham, and we've been friends a long time. And she saw Sally's illustrations, and she said, Karen, I think Sally's illustrations are going to intimidate children. And she said, that they'll never be able to, Sally's a professional graphic designer and artist, and their drawings are never going to come up to her level, and that's going to be disappointing. She said, I think what you should do is, I think that you should have children, gather up children, which I did from all across America, relatives and friends in all the various states in the country, and a variety of ages from actually 3 to 15, do the images. And I gave these children the steps to follow, but it was in black and white. And so then they could do the steps one step at a time with pencil, and then they were able to use paint or crayons and then add their own creativity to the drawings. And then we put their drawings in the book page by page with just their first name and their age. So then children can see how old the child is and their work. Now, in this book, our purpose really isn't to create professional artists. Some children may become professional artists because of shoe print art, But doing these art drawings, it's really good for boys and girls to develop their hand-eye coordination, their small motor skills, finger dexterity. It's just an important, fun way of developing those skills that all little children must learn to do. And then to add their own creativity and use their own imagination. That it's so special. So it's not just programmed that they all had to have, black and white zebras, or blue whales or whatever. They add their own creativity and imagination to their drawings. We started with the easiest, the balloon, the ghost, the mummy, and kind of put them into categories. But these are all the drawings done by Sally. And it was a huge point of Marianne Cole's really suggesting that we have children's work to be included in the book. Whatever job you do, if you're a writer or an artist, you just should make it fun. And Sally just took off. She was saying, I just love this project. I just love every single one. That's so much fun. I'm having so much fun. But she was making things far more elaborate. And I kept saying, I just had to kind of like tone it down. And I had to kind of stand her down and say, Sally, these kids are like 4 and 5 and 6. And you're putting too much detail. We just have to do just the bare minimum here. So this is a little bit about my background and Sally's background, the price of the book, and some other more images. We felt covers are so critical in books, and so we wanted to show the images and how they were, simple, cute, fun, and really see the shoe print shape. And so we just added them to the back side of the book. And then we have 3 endorsements from artists, which was really special. It's always good to have some endorsements on your book that people can read who are experts. And then we also connected with soulsforsouls.org. And that just came just one day that, oh my gosh, shoe print art, step into drawing. And Souls for Souls, there are millions of people in this world going barefoot, and there's lots of organizations, nonprofits, that are trying to raise money for people that need shoes. And so I did some research and then contacted soulsforsouls.org, and they were thrilled about it. But, I'm a little press, hide and seek press. This is my only book. They didn't want to connect with something that they wouldn't be proud of, but we had to send Sally's images, and they really impressed the people at Souls for Souls, and so they have a page in the book too, and we're very proud to have a part of the profits to go to their organization, and they're just really, we're so proud of their work. And worked so, for hours. One mother told me that Belle, I think, did. It was. I think no, it wasn't the mermaid. It was a sea animal, and I think it was the lobster. And she must have drawn the lobster 50 times before she was pleased, and finally turned it in. But they took this work very seriously, and that's going to be published in a real book, and children all over the world will be seeing their drawings. So they really worked very, very hard, and it was so special to have their work shown in the book. The one on the right, her grandmother is a watercolorist, and so she did hers in water paints. And most of the children use crayons, but we have a few children who use water paints, and pretty special. But that little child especially had learned how to watercolor because of her grandma. We also have stick puppets and then refrigerator magnets, so the smaller ones are better for those items. But you can also take your child's shoe, take the shoe off and trace it around their own shoe, and then do the drawing that way. And I suggest that you just have a light line because you don't want it to be too dark, because you just want a light line to follow the shape and then begin the steps in pencil. Just follow this. We just didn't really want this book to be a book that, drawings for girls. I mean, girls tend to just love to draw. And they're more, maybe a little bit more artistic and creative, or maybe they're not, but they just love to usually do crafts and drawing. But we really wanted to put in some really fun things for boys. And so we have a transportation theme, but this little guy down in Gig Harbor, Riker, age 8, he's all into the military. I mean, we have these images. I mean, I wouldn't have been able to, even suggest things to them, but they came up with their own ideas. And he said, well, I'm going to make mine a military helicopter.
Camouflage.
And he's going to use camouflage on his helicopter. He only had 4 steps to do in pencil, and then he used his own creativity. So, and once, remember I told you that I gave these steps to them all in black and white, so they didn't see the color that Sally's that had chosen. So, but you can see it was always starting with the shoe print shape, and then adding, wings, legs. But we always added the face at the end. The face was the last step because that brings the image to life. A couple ears, couple antlers, and then his eyes and nose. So, and we've made this into greeting cards like this. And so that's fun to actually cut out the shapes and then cut and paste. So you could make even reindeer stick puppets as well as greeting cards. But fun for a child to make a greeting card rather than buying one and send it off to a friend or relative, and then even date it or put his age on the back, and made and created by the child's name. So I really try to encourage parents and teachers of young children to have the children make their own cards and then mail them off. What do we have, Sally? 3 or 4 monsters?
These are actually Karen's concept, and she wanted to use the shapes, the square and the triangle.
Right.
Triangle for the teeth, and I thought it was very clever. And children, it was so easy for them to do, and they were also having sort of a learning experience as well.
In the heart.
Yes, kids at this age, the young children, they all need to learn their shapes. So I thought, hey, let's just make a shape monster. So we have squares, ovals, diamonds, triangles, a heart, and rectangles. And it turned, it was just fun to create it in an oval. So it's just all the shapes that they need to learn. And parents and teachers can talk to them and introduce them and find out, it becomes a teaching monster too, to learn those shapes. The next one, please. So we have, I think, 3 or 4 different, we have a wing monster and all kinds of different monsters. And then kids love dinosaurs. And this is Cade's dinosaur, age 9. And here again, it's just 4 simple shapes, all starting from the shoe print shape. And so we have, I think, 3 or 4 dinosaurs in the book. And here's our snowman from our shoe print snowman. That would be a cute greeting card or even a stick puppet. Simple steps, but let them do all the steps in pencil first and then add the color. And let them just make it however they want. But it just gives them a base. I mean, if you ask a child to draw a dinosaur or a snowman, they probably say, oh, I can't do it. And yet when you break it down into steps, then they can. And then they say, hey, I can draw anything. And then we have 55 images all drawn from a shoe print shape, but there must be hundreds, so let's hope that the kids, will draw and create their own. She's age 8 and lives in Gig Harbor. She has cystic fibrosis and nearly died several times, and she's so talented. And I don't know how she made those little swirls. It's almost like they were maybe potato stamps or some kind of stamping that she did. But she put it all together herself. And we do have, some fun, stick puppets too. The seal and a little bumblebee stick puppet. And then an airplane stick puppet. And we have the whale. I have a whale of a fun time. But you can see they're just cut into like 3 different parts. And then you just glue them on and just tape them on the back. But they can just play and have so much fun with these. Up with the idea of shoe print and changing it from footprint to shoe print. But then I did submit it to, maybe 12 different publishers. And I got, personal letters back from the editor saying it's a pretty cute idea, or, it doesn't look quite right for our list, how they kind of try to be polite, but it's a no. But, Dr. Seuss was rejected like 125 times before he got his first book accepted. So, but I think about 12 different publishers rejected it for some reason, but they thought it was a cute idea. But then one very big publisher in New York City loved it and said it was just right for them. It was quirky and fun, and it would really work because they had a handprint book, and they had a thumbprint book, and they had a fingerprint book, but they didn't have a shoe print book. So, wow, I was so excited. And this company, they also make like drawing kits. And so I thought, oh my gosh, they sell it worldwide. I bet they'll put a tablet with crayons inside and a pencil. And oh my gosh, I just hit it, really hit it. And I was just so excited. They wanted to hold on to it, and they were structuring their preschool line. I think, fine, that's good. But it worked for them. And I thought, this is huge. Because it was such a great company, and I love this company. Anyway, about 8 months later, I got a letter saying that the owner of the company had just retired, and a new manager had taken over the company, and he wanted to do everything in-house. He didn't want to accept anything from the outside, which meant that they were going to have to send it back to me. So I got it back, and I thought, I know they thought it was a great idea. I know it's a great idea. I've been doing this, these chicks and bunnies for 35 years, and I've come up with all these other ones. And so anyway, it was because of this big company in New York that pushed me and said, I just got to do it. It's my idea. I'm just going to do it. I'm going to self-publish. So then I was connected with Sally, and then we started. But then when they were all completed, and thank goodness Marianne Cole is my official editor, and so she's editing page by page, and I've got Sally working, I don't think she ever slept that whole year. She was working till 3 and 4 in the morning because she's a night owl. And anyway, we finished the book, and so then Marianne said it has to be done in color, and to go to color, you have to go overseas. Color in the United States to print in color is too expensive. And so I had been partnered with Leo Paper in China many years previously on another project, and they have their headquarters in Issaquah, in my backyard. And so, like Leo Paper is like the second largest manufacturing company in the world, and their work is just magnificent. They have manufactured Care for Our World and Shoe Print Art, both of my books, and I knew that they just have such high standards and great quality, so it was easy. And I had my friends right in Issaquah, so I had them cost out the book. It looked good. So I ordered 5,000 copies of hard copies, prints. So it took a while, and then they came across the ocean, and then they were delivered to the port in Fife, Washington. And I was so excited, just opening up the first, palette, and looking at all these books. And so, anyway, a lot of books, 5,000 copies there, and all boxed up. And everything arrived very safely and everything. So then what do? You try to find a distributor. You have to have many people helping you. And then you start doing book signings and book events and school events. And those are all fun. And, you just have to keep, getting the word out there. But you really do need help distributing. And you need lots of different companies to help with that. So that was a really big hard step. It wasn't a step that I really enjoyed. I love presenting. I love working with kids. I love drawing. I believe in the book, and it's such a great, cute book. But then you have to get them distributed. So that was a challenging part. So there's lots involved with the selling, the marketing, the distribution, all of that. So then, but it all worked out, and everything that doesn't work begins something that you learn, because you learn by mistakes. And so some things that didn't work out in the best way was a learning lesson. And, it just, through obstacles, you have to work through them and then try to find better answers and better solutions. So it's just a whole big learning process that keeps on going for the lifetime of the book. As long as you're alive, you just keep learning and making mistakes. And if you don't make mistakes, you're not out there making many decisions or doing much, I guess. You're too afraid to make a decision or a choice. And so, whatever. So you're just sitting at home doing Facebook all day or pinning pins on Pinterest or something. But anyway, I did make some mistakes, and I've had lots of challenges and obstacles, but it's still, this is one of the highlights of my life, and I'm so glad that I chose to self-publish. I'm so blessed that I met Sally, and she made the book so adorable, and it won the Benjamin Franklin Gold Medal Award in New York City, a national award from Independent Book Publishers Association. So, it was a finalist. They announced the finalists, and I was one of 3 finalists, and I wasn't going to go back to New York City. And, it's a pretty expensive trip with a flight and, the lodging is so expensive in New York. And then my friends were saying, Karen, your book is a finalist. Like, you've got to go. I mean, you've been at this for like 28 years. I mean, go and just, go to the banquet and, you'll be introduced as a finalist, one of the top 3 in this division. And anyway, and so I thought, they're right. I mean, life is short, and this is pretty special, after all these years of trying and submitting. Okay, I am a finalist. I think I should go. So I thought, it's just money, just go. And so I did. And then it was wonderful. And big banquet and all these publishers and writers from the Independent Book Publishers Association. They're all members. And my category was first book to publish, my first book for Hide and Seek Press. And so they announced the 3rd place, the 2nd place, and then Shoeprint won the gold medal, Benjamin Franklin. So Marianne Cole was with me at the table, my editor, and so she came up with me, and it was really, really, really special. And so now, for the lifetime of Shoeprint Art, it has the gold medal, Benjamin Franklin gold seal on the books. And so you order those and pay for those, and then you can put them on your book. And so it is one of the real highlights of my life to have published this beautiful, darling book, and I hope that I'll just keep on selling forever and ever. it's so easy for children, and they're proud, and then they've made it themselves, um, and then they can play with it and have it talk and put on little plays and at school or at home, and so much fun. I'm going to pass this around. These are just some original creations that children came up with on their own. And Sally mentioned these, that she absolutely
I just
loved the
imagination of that.
the imagination of the children by taking a shoe print shape and then coming up with their own creations, that they didn't follow anyone's step by steps, and you can see their ages of the children involved in that. And I did a lot of presentations to early childhood educators and primary grade teachers at teacher conferences, and that was with my book, Year-Round Holiday Crafts by Carson DeLoza, and then Big Bulletin Boards, A Cooperative Approach by Scott Forsman Company. But I love presenting to teachers, and I'm just a real right brain creative. Sally's a right brain creative. Some people are into math and science and astronauts, and I mean, we all have our gifts, but all of it's just who I am, and I love creating, and I love teaching to teachers and to children, and but some teachers, or some people, I'm not artistic, I can't draw, and it's very disturbing to me when I hear like a third or fourth grade child's, they stop and they don't think that they can draw, and they're not artistic, and they can only do stick figures, and they're embarrassed to show anyone anything better, so then they stop drawing, and it's a hand-eye coordination business, and just the more you do, the better you get at practicing anything, whether it's skiing or playing tennis or swimming or riding a bicycle. And so it really bothers me when I hear adults and children say, "Oh, I can't draw, I'm not artistic." And yes,
Especially in today's world where the kids get started on the electronic toys so early. This is a dynamite way to encourage them.
right,
Yeah, they might not be creative at first, and you go through the steps, and
right.
to encourage that creativity is very important, I think, too.
Well, it really is important, and I know with the creation of the iPad and tablets of just swiping. I mean, I was just with my little relatives over Thanksgiving, and they had their tablets and they were swiping. I mean, this is like a 3-year-old swiping or pointing and doing these little games, little children's games on his little tablet. And that's fun and interactive to a point, but they need more than that. And they do need the hand-eye and the hand coordination and the fun of, using their own imagination and creativity. But they just need to develop these skills. Thank you for, mentioning that, because I think we need to be we need to be balanced. We can't always eat vegetables, or we can't have, candy all the time. We have to be well balanced in our diets and in our activities, for children. Otherwise, we're not going to have that whole person developed. I can't live long enough. I've been at this, like I said, a long time, but I have projects sitting in files and stacks in my office, and I've got some really big things that I'm really, I don't know, I don't know, I don't even know how they've come about particularly, but I got a U.S. patent on a folding apparatus. And did I ever think, I ever plan to have a U.S. patent on anything? No, I'm a mother of 4 little boys. I'm a grandmother. I I'm a kindergarten and a first grade teacher. You know, yes, I was Miss Karen when I was 24, and that was just fun, and I wanted to teach thousands of children. And yes, you know, I taught creative arts for the young child and storytelling and puppetry when I was 26 years old at UPS. Yeah, those were, I mean, I'm still doing it. Creative arts for the young child and storytelling and puppetry. I was 26. Do you know how old I am now? I'm very old. And I should be retired, but I won't. I'll never retire. Will you ever retire, Sally? Never. Because I just love creating. But anyway, this patent came about. And then it's been an amazing journey and a most exciting journey beyond anything I'd ever imagined.
Is it a creative or a toy?
It's a folding apparatus, and it's the newest book technology in the world. And there's 4 sides to every page. So it's called Push and Peek. You push and then you peek inside. And so there's 4 sides. There's 2 sides on one side, and it wasn't until a year later that I realized it works on the back side too. And so it works on the back side. That gives you 4 sides to a page. And I've had the CEO of Toys R Us, the CEO of Discovery Toys. I've had the executive editor at Random House. Many other publishers that it sort of like knocks them off their chair, and they get very excited. And I have prototypes made at Leo Papers plant in China. And I had a man from Russia in Seattle. He was the president of his company. And he told me to forget the books, that there was enough money in educational flashcards. Because he said every country, all children throughout the world have to learn English. And so it's a perfect application for bilingual. And so I'm just looking for a partner, someone to connect with, or else Sally and I are going to have to bring it out ourselves. And I just feel it's just too good to not get out there. And I've been encouraged by so many top leaders in the country. And that everyone gave me another little keep going, don't give up, you've got to do it. You have to find somebody to help you do this. And there's a brain specialist here in Seattle, and they said, oh yes, this uses bilateral brain processing. So yeah, it would be wonderful, even people like with stroke victims or handicapped, disabled people who have to relearn the language again, because it's hand-eye coordination. Here again, it's different from the iPads and the tablets. It's hand-eye coordination where they push and peek. So, yeah, there's a lot of benefits in it, but it's I'm hoping that it will sell.
Well, Sally's going to write illustrations for all those different.
Possibly, yes. And then I have another invention that I've had some interest in, and another friend and I, we've created a board book, a board game, and it's called Monkey House. And there's an a math component to that game, and it's grabbed some attention too. Lynn Kuski has Kuski Math for young children, and with the math component, it's been play tested at Bellevue School District. But I have funny, silly poems, lots of picture books for children, and I do have an agent in New York City right now, and I'm very excited. I think that she's going to sell some of my work in the next year, let's hope, because the more you do, more things come. And you just have to keep bringing out more things. But do you know that editors back in the big houses, they reject 98% of everything they get, and agents reject 97% of everything they get. So how could you be the top 3% in the country? And you don't know what these editors are really doing. You don't know what new things are coming out, because sometimes their lists are like 3 years long. So you don't know you know, you don't know who likes cats and who likes dogs and who likes silly and who likes, you know, nonfiction, whatever. I mean, it's just like throwing darts on the board because you really, it's hard to know. You can do research but it's very difficult. It takes a little luck and you know, perseverance. You must never give up. And if you really believe in your concept and all, you just have to keep going and believing, but never stop believing in the book that's inside of you. So it's fun, but it is difficult and discouraging. I don't know. Maybe part of maybe they're I don't know if they're battling depression or if it's the writing that makes them depressed, but because it is so challenging, so very difficult. But you've got to be who you are, and I love what I'm doing. I love creating. I love using my imagination and it just entertains me. And all my little books and projects and games and puppets, they're just like my little babies, you know, and I just want to share them. I think we all have gifts to share with the world, so we need to share what we have and share our best.